Hello and welcome to another episode of Earthworks Hub. I'm your host, Ivan Orvik. Today, we're going to be talking about automation and, in particular, machine control. A lot of people have different terms for it. They call it GPS, machine control, all these sort of things. So, today, we're going to clear up some of that stuff. We're going to talk about what it is, the benefits of it, the future. And I have someone here from CR Kennedy that's going to explain everything for us. So, Nick, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Ivan. How are you? Great to be here.
I'm very good, thanks. Yeah, thanks for joining us. Like I said, we're going to obviously pick your brain a little bit about machine automation, or
hmm
there's multiple terms for it, but machine control in particular. Before we get into that, though, it's probably good to get to know you a little bit. So, can you just give us a bit of a history on, I suppose, yourself and the company you work for and what you do there?
Yeah, sure. My name is Nick. Thanks for the introduction. I work for CR Kennedy. I am the National Manager for the Machine Control Division. So, CR Kennedy is the exclusive distributors for Leica Geosystems and Hexagon heavy construction equipment for the Australian market. CR Kennedy was appointed sole distributors in 2001 for Leica Geosystems, and part of that portfolio includes machine control. So Leica Machine Control has been in the market for the Australian market for around 20 years now. But we've really seen a massive growth and huge demand for it in the last sort of 5 to 10 years, you could say.
Right. And what about yourself? Like, how long have you been with these guys?
So I've been with CR Kennedy for 7 years now. My background is actually nothing to do with machine automation or surveying. In my previous life, you could say I was actually a pilot, working in aviation. So pilot for more than 10 years, both in Australia and New Zealand, where I needed to do bit of a career change, a bit of a lifestyle change, and the opportunity at South Kennedy came up. They were a little bit reluctant to take me on at the start because, with no experience or not coming from a surveying background, but picked it up very, very quickly, ran with it. We were very successful in Victoria here, um, where I moved into managing the Victorian team, and now the national manager for Australia.
Wow. And so, CR Kennedy services all of Australia, not just Victoria, then, is it?
Correct. So CI Kennedy is a family-owned business. We've been in existence since 1934, so we're actually celebrating our 90th year this year. Family run. We're still family run. The Kennedy family are very much involved in the day-to-day operation of the business. We have offices in every state, except for the Northern Territory. So offices in Hobart, Tasmania. Our head office is in Melbourne, Adelaide, Perth, Brisbane, Cairns, Sydney, and we also have satellite offices in Port Macquarie and Newcastle. So really good exposure and really good coverage across Australia.
Yeah. Well, I never knew they were that big. Geez, that's pretty big. I suppose before we go too far, can you just give us a bit of a rundown of what machine control is? Like what does it actually mean, or for someone that's never sort of dealt with that stuff?
So you're quite right in saying at the start, there's a lot of different terminology for it. So machine control, GPS, machine automation, semi-automatic, fully automatic, um, TPS, total station, UTS. There's lots of different terminology, but effectively what machine automation is um, us being able to put very specialized equipment onto almost 95% of all construction machinery and being able to give that machinery guidance to a specific model. So, as an example, if you're building a road, you're going to use a grader, and that road needs to conform to tolerances and to government approvals and whatnot. So the best way to get those tolerances is by using machine automation in controlling the grader to grade to a specific grade.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I suppose, and it probably eliminates the need for the old string lines and people there dipping with their tape measures and using the old dumpies we call them, or the old
Oh,
levels.
absolutely. I mean, you can imagine the amount of time that's saved in using machine guidance. And it's not only time saved in putting down the material correctly, but the amount that you save in rework as well. Um, Effectively, there is no rework because you've done the design, well, you've done the construction as per the design that the surveyors have given you. So yeah, extremely beneficial, not only for time saving, but also safety measures as well. So
A lot of times there's talk about operators that work with GPS machines don't know how to dig. They can't dig without using GPS if that's what they've learnt on. Do you think there's any truth in that, or do you think like you still need to use some of your skill along with that? Like it doesn't do everything, does it?
oh, absolutely. There's a little bit of truth in that when it comes to graders. So a grader is a machine that we can automate and control the blade. With an excavator, traditionally and typically, I would say 90% of the excavators out there using machine automation um, still require the operator to, control the boom, control the stick, the bucket, and the tilt, etc. There are some out there now that have the ability for semi-automatic, so therefore all the operator needs to do is pull back on the stick, and the machine system will actually control the tilt and the bucket and so forth for you. But you're never going to use that system for everyday digging. You would only ever use that for final trim, or if you're doing batter work, or if you're filling in a trench, backfilling, and you're putting that last little bit of backfill through where you want to make sure that you get the correct level. But and in at the end of the day, the operator still needs to know how to operate the machine. They still need to dig, and they still need to grade, depending on what application that they're doing.
And how does it actually work? Like what gives the machine the data, or how does it actually work and tell it how deep you've got to go, and where does it get the information from? Do you need a SIM card? Does it come from the satellite? Like where does it come from?
Yeah, so you've got two ways of controlling machinery, either via GPS or via a robotic total station. Most common, specifically for excavators, would be for GPS. So think about like the GPS in your car. It will tell you to turn left in 200 meters. And the reference point that the car is referring to there is it probably its computer inside it. So with an excavator, you wire it up and you install bucket sensors, stick sensor, boom sensor, tilt sensor, and a body sensor. So using the GPS, using the computer of the system, it knows where the bucket is and it knows where the bucket edge is. So the GPS system knows where it is. So using a 3D model that a surveyor produces, you can dig to that model. So not only is it telling you how close or what you need to dig to, the tolerance for the system is, let's call it plus or minus 15, 20 mil.
Wow, that's pretty close. Very
Yeah.
very close. Yeah, yeah. And like you say that, if you're spreading craft rock or capping along a road or something with a grader, that 15 mil across, 400 meters is a big saving of material if you can get it within 15 mil.
Well, that's right. And I mean, if referencing the grader there, if you're laying class one, class two, 15 mil is let's call it acceptable. But if you're running CT, then using a robotic total station, you can get that down to say between 0 and 3 mil. So accuracy is
Wow.
very, very fine with your final layer of CT there. And yeah, as you say, over let's say a 5 or a 10 kilometre stretch of road, that could be hundreds of tons worth of material.
Yeah, that's true. So, yeah, big savings, not just like I was saying earlier, string lines and laborers and things. It's actually material cost savings and time for that machine as well. So,
That's
yeah, big
right. Yeah,
saving. Yeah.
yeah,
So let's just say I've decided I want to get GPS on my one of my machines.
yep.
What advice would you give to someone that wants to get that on their machines, and sort of what are the steps?
Really good question. I think at the end of the day, do your research. So find out exactly what you want to try and achieve. Do you need 2D or do you need 3D? The difference between 2D and 3D is 3D is going to get you positional accuracy using a GPS model that a surveyor will give you, and try and work out what sort of tolerances you're trying to achieve. This is a really, really important question because, as mentioned before, tolerance with GPS will get you, say, 15 to 20 mil plus or minus, where if you need robotic total station control, you're looking at about 0 to 3 millimeters in accuracy. So do your research, ask your clients or ask whoever you're working for the questions like, what do you guys want me to do? What sort of tolerances do you want me to try and achieve? And then go from there. And then you can come and talk to your friendly CI Kennedy advisor, which will also offer you a number of different solutions as well.
Mm. Oh, excellent. And then yeah, so once we've decided what we want and all that, you're saying how you guys do all the installs. So one, do you need the machines brought back to somewhere, or do you do them on site?
No, so 95% of all of our installs will be done on site. When we say on site, it can be done either like on a physical construction site or back at your yard. So a lot of our offices around the country don't really have the facility for you to bring the machinery to us. But one of the other common things that we do is we do install equipment at manufacturers' yards. So if you're buying a new machine from a dealer, then quite often you'll package that machine system up with GPS, and we'll go and install it in their yard. So when the machine is delivered to you, everything's done, GPS is installed, all nice and tidy, clean machine, ready to go to work.
Mhm. Oh. And what do you need to like do any modifications? Like, do you have to cut and weld anything, or is everything sort of magnetic, or like how does that work?
Yeah, we used to have to weld onto the stick and the boom, but not anymore, thankfully. So we now use these really strong magnets. They're called earth magnets. So that combined with a bit of epoxy um, uh, provides a really, really strong bond. So the only thing we have to weld on is a tilt bucket or a tilt hitch sensor. But these days, for the stick and the boom, yeah, there's some really good brackets there, and then fabricating for either handrail mounts or poles for your GPS antennas. Really straightforward. We provide all of our own equipment, and our team are fully versed in boiler making sort of facilities as well as how to create solutions.
Mm. All right. And then once just say if I order the GPS and got it all installed, do you offer some type of like training, or what happens after that?
Yeah, absolutely. So part of the package of the quote will include on-site training. Um, On-site training is done usually at time of delivery or when the machine's handed over, and then when the job goes to its first GPS site. So training is usually around an hour or two. It's kept pretty simple. We teach the operator how to do the basic functions, upload data, select a surface, select line work, turn it off, turn it on, and how to just generally check the positioning of the machine to make sure that it's all working correctly. We also provide after sales support as well. So if you need some more support, a month down the track, we'll come and provide that as part of the service. And we also provide phone support for the lifetime of the sort of the relationship as well. So some really good after sales service and support there.
Yeah, excellent. And do these things need like regular calibration? Like I know my little laser level needs to be calibrated every now and then. Is that the same sort of deal with GPS?
No, not really. So with the GPS, with the actual GPS system itself, there's no calibration. GPS is, as I mentioned before, it's a bit like the GPS in your car. There's no calibration required. However, quite often, you're going to wear the teeth or wear the blade on your grader or your excavator. So you'll recalibrate those buckets or the blade on that. And then there's also software updates as well, which can assist in the operator's use as new features or new software updates gets released year on year as well.
And what about limitations? Like, is there anything that might prevent you from being able to put machine control on an excavator, just say, or a grader? Like, can it be too old or something like that?
No, not necessarily. As long as the machinery is in good condition, we can fit GPS equipment to any excavator or grader or dozer. Um, there are some limitations around specific valving for, say, a dozer or a grader, but most common these days would be, the Cat M series or the John Deere GP series. And both those graders are electro over hydraulic, so it's literally a plug and play sort of system. Um, in terms of limitations for using the equipment, um, each solution, whether it be GPS or robotic total station, does have its limitation, i.e., you can't use GPS if you're working under a tree or if you're working under a bridge or in a factory because you need clear sky above you to see the satellites. With the limitation for robotic total station, it needs to be line of sight. So you need to be able to see the total station so that it can give you its positional heading and so forth. So it's there's always going to be limitations, but doing your research and talking to your sales advisor, that'll give you the best option for what you're after.
Yeah, I get what you mean about the total station because there's been a few times where I've been working in my excavator and blocking the total station for the grader, and I've had him going off on the UHF saying, "Get out of the way! I can't see
Yeah,
what I'm
that's
doing."
it. Yeah, or a very common one is the water cart gets in between, and you get
Yeah,
a few F bombs down the UHF on that one.
yeah, I've copped that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Now I know it's not a cheap exercise, from what I hear. And being saying that, do you give like finance options and that? Like, because obviously not everyone can afford to just fork out such a big amount.
Yeah, so look, GPS and machine automation is is regarded as being a little bit expensive. However, Leica does offer a good, better, best philosophy. So for most applications, we offer three different offerings, which range in functionality and, of course, price. With regards to finance, yes, we do. We're very, very lucky to offer our own in-house finance through CR Kennedy Finance. And this gives the customer the option to either outright purchase or hire to buy options. And we can spread payments from anywhere from 2 years through to 5 years. So some really good finance options and some really good offerings with the good, better, best philosophy.
What are some of the, I suppose we spoke about limitations, but what are some of the challenges that you guys face or even your installers?
So I mean, all job sites are going to have limitations. Where it comes down to line of sight, whether you can see the satellites, whether we can install the equipment. We obviously have to stand the machine down while the machine gets installed. I mean, for an example, the typical stand down for an excavator would be 2 days for a full install.
I forgot to ask, yeah, what does it actually roughly take? Yeah, so 1 to 2 days, is that what you think on average or to
Yeah,
install?
usually 1.5 to 2 days for a full install. So the majority of the install will get done on the first day, and then the second day would normally be the calibration of the machine, calibration of the buckets, or if it's a grader, calibrating the blade. And then once that's wrapped up, there's a few hours in there for operator training, get the machine set up so we're actually receiving GPS corrections, so we can hand the machine over, knowing that it's full working, and the client can go to work straight away and start reaping the benefits of it.
I'm noticing on sites that more and more you've got labourers walking around with the little rovers and Leica
Mhm.
systems and the sticks, and they're checking stuff. You've got surveyors walking around with it. So obviously the future is going to be more and more automation. Like where do you see the future going with machine control in particular?
Yeah, machine control. It's there's limitless ideas and solutions that will be coming out in the future. Um, Hexagon with Leica have got some really cool products with artificial intelligence coming out soon, built into the safety sector. There'll be artificial intelligence with modeling and as builts as well. So yeah, the what's coming out in the future. There's some crazy stuff, some really cool technology. If you're really into technology, then keep abreast with the current trends and what's happening in the market. You can sign up to Hexagon Heavy Construction newsletters. So they come out monthly with the latest in trends, and what they predict is the future being as well.
Yeah, all right. So how do you guys make yourselves stand out, compared to your competitors?
One of our big key points of difference is that we are a family owned and operated business. So the level of support that you'll get here in Melbourne is the same level of support that you'll get in Perth or Brisbane or Adelaide or wherever you are in the country that you might end up doing work. Um, and that all comes down to our after sales service and support. You can have the best product in the world, but if you can't support it, then it's no good. Another key point of our advantage is the people that we employ. So all the people that we employ are very passionate. They're industry leaders. They've either worked in the industry or come from a surveying background. Um, and not only do our sales team sell, but they're also fully versed and able to support the product, which is a huge advantage. We understand that when a piece of machinery is not working, um, the machinery could be stood down, or they could, they might not be generating the full potential amount of revenue that that machine could be able to achieve. So for the operator or the owner of the company to call support or call the sales team, whoever it might be they're calling, they're going to get answers and they're going to get results fast. So very, very important.
Hmm. All right. And what about, do you guys attend any expos and that? I can see there's a lot more expos and things coming out these days. Do you attend any of those things and showcase what you've got?
Yeah, absolutely. So in the machine control sector, there's two major shows in the world. There's Bauma, which is in Munich in Germany, and it's by far the biggest construction show in the world. Absolutely huge. I went to that in October 2022, and we were there for 6 days, and I still did not get around the whole expo. It's that big.
6 days. Wow.
6 days, and still couldn't get around it. It's unbelievable huge. It's really, really cool. And the second one is Con Expo, which is held in Las Vegas. So both those expos are every 2 years, and they're in alternate years, so you're never going to get two in 1 year. And the Americans, they try and do things good and big, supersize everything, but they certainly can't match what Balmer has to offer. But both of these expos we attend as guests. We take clients along. Usually every visit we would take up to 15 to 20 clients along. And these clients can be new clients, they can be tier one contractors, everyone from owner operators to 50 plus machines. So you don't have to be a big spender to be invited along. It's There's obviously criteria that needs to be met to receive an invite, and we go from there. But another conference that I'm actually luckily enough very lucky to attend next week is going to be World of Concrete, which is also in Las Vegas. And this conference covers everything to do with concrete. Specifically for us in machine automation, we're looking at machinery, installing equipment on slip form pavers, barrier pavers, concrete, concrete barrier work. So yeah, really up and coming market in here in Australia, um, with 3D paving or 3D concrete paving. So yeah, really cool.
There you go. So it's more than just excavators and skid steers and graders. There's a lot
Yeah,
more to
look,
it.
excavators, dozers, graders, milling machines, asphalt pavers, um, chain trenches, scrapers, tow behinds, posi tracks, you name it. If you name it, we can nearly put GPS pretty much on everything that moves dirt.
Yeah, I did actually. Speaking, you just mentioned the posi tracks and that. I noticed a lot more posi tracks with the grader blades and GPS on them. Do you think there's going to be a lot more of that as well?
Yeah, they've become very, very popular in the market now. Where you typically can't get a full size grader onto a job site, whether it be a slip road or an on ramp, off ramp, maybe a driveway, cul-de-sac, whatever it might be. The ability to have your posi track with a grader blade or a box blade on it with 3D automation is becoming very, very popular. Um, it does take it does take a really good operator to operate them. There is quite a bit of methodology in laying the material out, but certainly it's become very, very popular. And with the major brands like Bobcat, Cat, John Deere, Komatsu, not Komatsu, sorry, Kobelco, Positrack machines. They're all fully integrated, near enough plug and play. So really easy, really quick install, and we can get an operator up and running within a day with machine automation for a Positrack.
Is there anything that you would like to add that I haven't asked you about?
No, I don't think so. I mean, going back to do your research, have a look online. You can check us out on any of the socials. CR Kennedy has a Instagram page under CR Kennedy Geospatial, which is what machine control falls under. If you want to look on the website, if you type in Leica machine control, the first page that comes up is the Leica Geosystems page, and all the information that you want to know about, whether it's total station or GPS or GPS foreman kits, can all be found there. And all of the social pages and websites and so forth, they all have an area where you can submit your email address and your telephone number, where we can give you a call back and get in touch and provide some advice and offer some solutions and hopefully sell you some equipment.
Excellent. Yeah. No, thank you. Well, hopefully our listeners have learnt a lot more about machine control. Like they've got an option now. They can come out and see CR Kennedy. So if you've got any questions, I'm sure Nick will be able to help. I'm also going to include links down in the description, so keep an eye out for that. Nick, thank you very much for coming on, and I hope you enjoy Las Vegas next week.
Yeah, thanks, Ivan. Really great to be on here. And
Thanks for coming on. And to all the listeners, make sure that you follow Earthworks Hub on all socials. Like, subscribe, share the shit out of it, like I always say. The more the merrier. Go onto the website if you want any other information as well, earthworkshub.com.au. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next one.